Moon Knight Episode 5. Moon Knight finally takes some time out from its Stephen Grant schedule to properly introduce us to Marc Spector in a beautiful and affecting episode of Marvel TV. In Moon Knight Episode 5, Asylum, we finally get to know Marc Spector, and the show was all the better for it. While the latest installment of the Marvel series didn't fix all the tonal and structural issues it suffered with its first 4 episodes, it did offer its audiences an olive branch in the way of essential cohesion that was practically AWOL, while we spent time watching Stephen Grant's bumbling realization that he was just one identity in a body that had been reformed to house at least 2. Some people might feel that the more messy, silly, fractured, or occasionally downright woeful elements of these episodes were deliberately constructed that way to reflect the nature of the central character, and I could understand that point of view. But that honestly feels like a pretty lazy way to look at it, especially since there's already been a well-received Marvel TV show that explored a lot of the same themes as this one. Even when Legion was objectively flawed or problematic, it still found interesting ways to keep you invested. After mulling it over, I think investment has been my core problem with Moon Knight. It's a little hard to embrace half a character. By predominantly focusing on Stephen Grant up until now, that is what has been asked of me. It's even harder to embrace a third of a character, and as the series has lightly sprinkled in teases of that reveal still yet to come, it's increasingly felt like yet another puzzle piece has been missing. When puzzle pieces are missing from a plot, that can be exciting and mysterious. Hey, I sat through 6 seasons of Lost and didn't even hate the finale, for crying out loud. But when so many key puzzle pieces are missing from a lead character I'm asked to root for, it's a bit of a struggle for me to connect with them properly. Consequently, Asylum felt like a long, cool glass of water after 4 weeks of stumbling through the desert. Getting to know Marc was like balancing my own scales of judgment on Moon Knight itself. I could imagine that swinging between Marc's therapy session, his buried memories, and his ongoing battle to save his soul might have been a wild ride for some viewers, but every moment we spent filling in Marc's backstory earned a little more of my investment in seeing he and Stephen make it through their visually stunning journey with Tourette. Right now I feel hydrated, moisturized, happy, in my lane, focused, flourishing. Additionally, that's a weird way of talking about witnessing a trauma, but it is what it is. Let's just say there's no time to unpack it and move on. Marc's trauma in the series has been altered from the Marvel Comics version. In the books, it was his father who died, and his father's funeral he ran away from. His father's friend, a serial killer and Nazi deserter who adopted the identity of a long-lost rabbi, was much more of the catalyst for Marc's trauma, but that's a bit too heavy to get into here. Likely due to the timeline issues, the cause of Marc's trauma now stems from a tragic accident involving his younger brother and his mother's subsequent breakdown. Blaming Marc for his death, she punished him with emotional and physical abuse, and he created Stephen as a way to cope with his distressing childhood. I found these memories to be deeply affecting, and also felt they bonded Stephen and Marc in a way that screwball interactions in the midst of a CG-laden adventure never could. Marc and Stephen's trip to the afterlife also felt genuinely perilous, which is a real achievement when true peril has so often been an issue in the MCU. Last week I was worried that any time we spent in the mental hospital and beyond might be distracting from the action in Egypt, but it wasn't, as the episode built a case for Marc to survive the journey. I longed for he and Stephen to connect, and the episode delivered that catharsis with a light enough touch to avoid feeling forced. Seeing Stephen embrace his potential to save Marc was wonderful. I was almost as upset as Marc to see him fall into the desert and be lost. In Asylum, Oscar Isaac's performance as both identities was genuinely spectacular. I think this episode finally proved to me without a doubt that he was the right choice for the role. I just wish they could have served some of this depth earlier on in the series. Maybe there was no way to make it work, but our time with Isaac's version of Marc and Stephen in those first 4 episodes did leave something to be desired. Now that this thirst has been quenched, Moon Knight could be all set to give us a great finale, and I hope it does. Hey, hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy our content, and as always, leave a comment in the comment section below. What did you think about Moon Knight Episode 5? What are you expecting from the season finale? Let us know. And if you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Your support helps the channel grow, hire new hosts, upgrade our equipment, take this show on the road, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will see you next time.